Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and guidance, greetings, good afternoon everyone. Um, my name is Umar Abdullah, I'm the head of the Wajhat for Islam and the Islamic Front. And I'm here once more to speak to you regarding a matter that's very disturbing to me, very confusing. And we would have seen a lot of um, things being said on mainstream media and social media and so on about it. I'm talking about doubles, the sale of doubles as opposed to the sale of KFC. In 1992, when Penguin sang the famous Calypso, Deputy Essential, who would have thought in 2020 we would have been having this debate on which is more essential, KFC or doubles? It's actually a ridiculous conversation in my view, but this is where we are, and we have seen where it has been published that the doubles is a non-essential business and KFC is an essential business. Now, I got a call from uh, a woman yesterday indicating to me that the establishment in which she works, selling doubles, the police came by, that's the municipality police, came by and cautioned them, indicating, highlighting the charges that could be laid if they were to continue operating the business, and they were told that they have to shut down. They pleaded with the police to at least sell out what they have, the stock that they had, but the police was not compromising. They told them, well, okay, let's sell the customers that was there present at the time, and after that they will have to shut down. Okay. Now this establishment is not a side street or uh, uh, you know an umbrella and a box by the side of the road. It's actually a building where people would go into the building and purchase their doubles and leave. Some would of course stand there and eat their doubles. You know the culture of Trinidadians and doubles. So there is a counter and there is a barrier between the customers and the workers at the back, and that barrier is actually shielded with a plastic with a plastic barrier that does not allow for the interaction in that sense. We're hearing all of this talk about droplets being transferred from one person to another, so that barrier actually prevents that from happening. So it's quite surprising to me that these people were told to shut down their business, and KFC, who has more or less the same type of facility, and it's the same thing that happens. People go in, people buy. They're offering a lot of deliveries. Yes, I know that, but people still are going into the establishments and buying, and taking away what it is they buy. So I'm actually wondering what was really the rationale in deciding that doubles is non-essential and KFC is essential. Mind you, KFC is foreign. It's an imported meal culture, and doubles is a local meal culture. It's a mainstay of our society, of our country. As a matter of fact, you can't say you visited Trinidad and Tobago without having doubles to eat. It's a signature, um, street food in Trinidad and Tobago, signature dish. And it's in tune, or it's part of our culture. It's part of our tourism package uh, when people visit our country and so on. And it's also very affordable, very affordable. $2 will cost you $10, as opposed to a box of KFC. I think the cheapest item on their list is $25, if I'm not mistaken. All right, that also is relatively cheap, and so I'm not advocating that KFC be shut down or they close their business, just as Audi Doubles has to close. What I'm saying is that both of them are essential businesses because it offers um, an alternative to the poor man. It offers an alternative to a quick meal and something that is filling and so on. And in the case of the doubles, I think if correct me if I'm wrong, it's more nutritious than the KFC, or probably perhaps the both of them are on the same level. I'm not an expert on that, but what I'm saying is that what was the rationale? Now, there was an article in the Guardian that was published on the April the 1st, written by Renuka Singh, headline: Business Leaders Confident of Surviving COVID Crisis. And in that article, the CEO of Massey Holdings was interviewed, Mr. by the name of Grevez, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, Warner, Grevez Warner. And in that article, it is quoted that he said, "We have been able to have all our businesses up and running except for the non-essential activities which are no longer permitted." All right? That's a sort of a bold statement. It's sort of talking down to other like establishments that have been labeled non-essential. But anyways, it goes on to say that Christian E. Monte, who happens to be the chairman on the board of Prestige Holdings, and we all know Prestige Holdings is the umbrella company for KFC, Starbucks, Subway, all these places and so on. And he's also the CEO of Victor E. Monte Limited and the chairman of Augustini's Limited. And according to some reports, he is a member of the COVID-19 task force selected by the Prime Minister, giving recommendations as to how to treat with this pandemic that we have here in this country. And a recommendation was sent to the government, to the Prime Minister, indicating what was essential businesses and what was non-essential businesses. In my view, he being the chairman of the board of Prestige Holdings sort of put him in a biased position to even make those recommendations. But anyways, that is past and gone. He's also listed as the country's within the country's top 10 richest person, Trinidad and Tobago. So it begs the question, what is really at play here? And again, we are seeing where the poor class in Trinidad and Tobago, people who are struggling to make ends meet, and who have opted not to um, participate in a life of crime, but rather have a legitimate business and, you know, service the people of this country, and they're the ones who are having to suffer the most and sacrifice the most in this country as a result of this COVID-19. And, you know, these guys, these big boys, they are allowed to continue running their business and raking a lot of profits and so on. And they are not suffering as the poor people in this country. These are people you would not see line up in the bank or standing in a line outside of a bank. These are people who you would not see standing in a line in any establishment in this country, in supermarkets, or as the case may be, and so on and so forth. And yet we are seeing the attitude of the government as it relates to the poor people in this country. And what's worse is that the government is giving the police their dirty work to do for them. Their dirty work. Because the police has to go to these people and cold-heartedly shut down their businesses and tell them that they no longer can sell, they no longer can operate, they no longer can earn, a legitimate income. And why would you want to put the police service in a position like that? Why would you want to put the police service in a position where, and I spoke about it in my last video, in a position where the people would hate the police, when at a time when the police is trying to regain the confidence of people in this country and rebuild their image? Why would you want the police to do something like this? Cold-heartedly shut down your business. We don't care what you do with the dollars. You can dump it, you can throw it away, you can give it away, whatever you choose to do. But that money is spent and invested in bringing out that stock. We don't care if you lose it, we don't care what happens to you. What I think should have been done was that the doubles vendors should have been directed to, you know, better make changes to the environment in which they sell. Like those who have those carts that's barricaded, right? Have them put those plexiglass, you know, in front of all around, so that, you know, there's a barrier between the customers and them. You go by most of these doubles outlets, you'll see there's soap and water for people to wash their hands. And just as how the people who go to the grocery and they observe social distancing and they wait outside the grocery and then allowed to go in, or wait outside the KFC outlets and allowed to go in and that sort of thing. The same thing you see happening by the doubles cart, or the doubles establishment. Those individuals who just have a cart and an umbrella, well, they would have to actually seriously, you know, either sell from out of their homes or you know, create some makeshift, you know, barrier around them so that they could interact with the public safely and so on, under sanitized conditions, right? We're seeing that before the shutdown came, you know, they were wearing the mask and they were wearing their gloves and etc. etc. So these things could have been properly, you know, managed and not allow them, or not have them shut down their business. But here we have um, this task force making recommendation that doubles is not an essential business. How, how did they arrive at that? And in that same article, um, that Renuka Singh wrote, they indicated in that article that they have established that barrier in their restaurants between the customer and the workers at the back with the plexiglass, as if to say that that was the rationale that they used, or that was one of the rationale that was used to allow them to continue, um, plying their trade or selling their product. So that's why I mentioned in this particular case, the woman had a barrier separating the workers from the customers. So why would the police tell this particular woman to close her business? So it's clear that the police themselves are not fully, have not been fully properly informed and guided as to what they should do and what they shouldn't do. So again, I'm making the point. The government needs to be very cautious on how it rolls out its policy as we move forward regarding the COVID-19. I am of the view that doubles is an essential business, and these doubles vendors who fits the criteria of proper hygiene, proper sanitation, proper procedure in terms of avoiding contact and avoiding contamination and so on, should be allowed to continue operating their businesses. I am not of the view that they should shut down their business, right? And I don't know if there are any lawyers who'll be listening to this. I think it's a challenge that our attorneys could take up and fight on behalf of our doubles vendors, so that they can continue plying their trade. We don't know when this thing is going to end. We don't know how long this is going to be stretched out. We are not certain. Look at what is happening. The numbers are increasing daily. The deaths are increasing daily. All right. When is it all going to end? How are we going to continue sustaining ourselves? How much funding or how much assistance would the government be able to hand out? I mean, these are serious questions. These are serious things that we have to be considering. So all I'm saying is that let us not, proceed in the manner in which we're proceeding. We are affecting the lives of poor people in this country. People who have worked hard to build the reputation of this country, to build the image of this country, right? To build the tourism package of this country, and we are not recognizing their importance. And I think this is not just an argument for that part of it, but it's trying to understand the rationale and how did they arrive at deciding that doubles was not essential. I cannot understand that up until now, and KFC continues to sell to the public. It's the same food, it's the same process and the same, procedure in much of these establishments that sells doubles. All right, so I don't know if anyone could come and make it absolutely crystal clear to me what was the rationale here. if I'm missing something, if I'm not understanding something, I mean, let me know. Probably I might be, um, you know, foolishly misguided and that sort of thing. I need to understand. I need to understand. I need to be clear why the KFC is being allowed to continue and the doubles are not being allowed to continue. All right. So with that, I leave you. There are other things that I have to talk about, and I'm I'm going to be doing some more of these videos. Um, so keep looking out for it, and it's it's um, it's a sad day in our country when we have to rely on the police, when the government is relying on the police to do their dirty work and to go to the poor people in this country and to tell them, the bad news, or to give them instructions to do the things that they're asking them to do. Um, like what happened in Sandy Grande, and my 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 opinion on that, and all of the rest. Why are you putting the police in that position? And I'm totally against it. And I think I think Gary Griffith should say something on it. Should say something about it, because what you're doing as the police service in this country, you are causing people to not like you, to despise you, because you have to go to the people cold-heartedly, without a conscience, and tell these citizens they cannot operate a legitimate business. What about the criminals who are continuing to commit their crimes? Right? The police is at a point right now. It's hard for them to decide whether to arrest or not arrest. Because if you arrest somebody, you'll have to take them to court. The magistrates, the judges are not coming to court. You have to afford these people their rights, to put them before a court within a certain time frame. If you don't do that, you violate their human rights. All these things are very confusing to me, right? So these people are allowed to continue committing their crimes. The police are probably at a point, I don't know, correct me, Gary Griffith, if I'm wrong, that you all have a decision to make, a judgment call to make, whether or not to arrest a person or not to arrest a person now because of what is happening. Come on, we have to be conscious of what it is we're doing, and we cannot allow the poor people in this country to suffer and continue to suffer like this. Thank you.